Hey guys, welcome back to Meteor Pulse. I'm your host, Isabel Perea.
And I'm your host, Mia Nunez.
In this episode, we had a chance to sit down with Mr. Jackowiak, Mr. Stevenson, and Senior Jose Campos.
We hope you enjoy.
Thanks. Hey guys, welcome back to Meteor Pulse. I'm your host, Isabel Perea with
Mia Nunez.
And today we are seated down with Senior Jose Campos.
It's been an exciting week here, especially in sports. The girls just won the regionals, which is super exciting. The boys are going to be playing for regionals tonight and hopefully moving on to sectionals next week. And we had 3 different state wrestlers compete at state, so that was really cool.
Yeah, and in events, we had our 2027 family night, and then we had our 2027 class admitted night, which we were all there to help with. And then we also just ended our break contest with honorable mention of Jose Campos, led by Mr. Jackowiak's geometry class. So, Jose, you were the big one last year, and you had 365 pounds. So you beat that 300 level that was there. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, at the time, the class always clapped after 100 pounds, and after 100, I was like, oh, I got the A, so we're good. And then it started getting to the 200 mark. I was like, hey, okay, let's go. And then the 300, and I was like, okay, what's going on? I was like pinching myself, this is actually happening. But no, I was really happy, and really, it wasn't a process that I was like stressing about. Like I was watching Netflix while I was doing the cuts and all that, and so it was a process that I enjoyed. I think that I really like the individual planning and the individual, working with my hands and all that. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, there wasn't really anything special to it. I just changed a little bit, in some parts, but it was almost identical to the one that Jackowiak made. It was just, I think, in my opinion, the clean cuts and the, I applied like 4 small amounts of glue. So
before last year, no one had ever even broke 300 before. So you mentioned that you used Mr. Jackowiak's plan. Did you have help from past students? I know sometimes sometimes like juniors will, have
siblings and
or siblings and stuff too. Did you look at anyone else's plans, or you kind of just?
No, not anybody else's. It was really just the YouTube video that Mr. Jackowiak made. Really good YouTube video. I just kept going back to that, and really, it was just a bit of my own kind of twist to it at the end with a few of the cuts that I'm saying, but like apart from that, they're 90% identical to what he did.
That's awesome. I know he's pretty jealous that you beat him.
No. I mean, Mr. Jackowiak, he's someone that I think takes pride in his work, and I'm pretty sure that we as students are kind of part of that work. So like, if we do well, then he in a sense is also doing well, right? So I'm pretty sure, he probably is a little bit, but,
a little salty.
Yeah, a little salty about it, but I'm pretty sure that he also feels very happy, that his students are doing well. And there was also another 300, right? Peter. So not only one person, but also Peter did very well.
Right. I agree with exactly what you said. I think that, Mr. Jackowiak thinks that his students' success also attributes to his own success. Moving on from the bridge contest, we were all there for the class of 2027 family night. I know personally, Jose and I, we did the student panel and a parent panel. So what did you do during?
So I was actually upstairs with the clubs, and we had all the clubs lined upstairs. So the incoming freshmen had the opportunity to look at these clubs and sign up for the clubs that they're interested in. So then when they come here, they're already enrolled and they already start their meetings. So it was pretty nice. I talked to a lot of students, and they were all a little bit nervous, but I told them it's okay. It's just like a bigger school that you're already in. But how did your panel go?
I thought it went well. We started off with the students. So we had the students there. We all just sat down with them, talked, had some pizza, answered some of their questions. And then after that, that was pretty chill. And then we went downstairs to the commons, and we had the parent panel. What do you think about parent panel?
I think the parents, it's really good that they get a bit of insight into what seniors' mindset are like, because we almost are kind of like the veterans, the ones that know how their kids are going to be like in school. And so them getting a bit of insight into how we think and what we think they should be doing as parents, I think that all comes down to having a more knowledgeable community here at De La Salle. Not only the students, like we met with them, and they look kind of already focused on high school and all that and ready, which is great. but also the parents who are also crucial in their children's development.
Yeah.
It's something that I always say, because I do help with Ambassador Club. We do a lot of tours and stuff. When you're doing those tours and you're talking to parents and students, when the parent looks at you, they're looking at their kid. So they're seeing,
Facts.
they're trying to see, what's my kid going to be like in 4 years.
Yeah.
Jose, I know that you mentioned that you have a full ride to Purdue right now as one of your
Oh, yeah.
options, which is amazing.
Yeah, these-
And it's already super cool to find out where you could potentially be going in
Yeah.
March, February, especially because I know a lot of schools don't roll out their decisions till later on. But it's just a great way for parents to see what the school can offer and what
what the school can offer.
right,
Exactly.
Yeah.
what their own student can become.
I think I'm gonna shout out Elvis right now, who really made a big impact that night when he said that he came to the school not playing lacrosse, and then he started playing here, and now he has a full ride to Indiana University, right?
Yeah.
Playing lacrosse. So like again, one of those things that you come to De La Salle. De La Salle offers you these a
Amazing
variety,
opportunities.
a variety of opportunities,
Mhm.
and all we have to do is kind of just take advantage of those.
Yeah, and I think hearing from the students is important because we are De La Salle. We're the one to advertising De La Salle, and we spent our 4 years here. So I think that's important to hear from students.
Mhm.
Well, thank you for coming and sitting
Yeah,
down with us.
Thank you for the
on
invite,
this
yeah.
experience. And so I had Mr. Jackowiak sit down with us, and he kind of talked us through the process of the bridge contact. And I know, Mia, you had the opportunity to sit down with Coach Stevenson, so we hope you enjoy.
Thanks.
Hey guys, I'm your host Isela, and I'm here with Mr. Jackowiak. Mr. Jackowiak, do you mind just introducing yourself?
Well, I'm Mr. Mark Jackowiak. I'm a De La Salle graduate of 1988, and this is my 31st year here teaching at De La Salle. I teach honors geometry this year and honors algebra 2 trig.
Oh, wow. So we just had your bridge contest, and so I just want you to give me a quick history about where this bridge contest came from.
The bridge contest started here at De La Salle in 1970 under the direction of Mr. Joe Monti. And when I started working at De La Salle in 1992, Mr. Monti was still here. And the very next year, in 1993, was the first year I taught honors geometry, and I kind of inherited the contest. And so this would be my 30th contest, doing the bridge contest. But it was started by Mr. Monti in 1970.
Oh wow, that's amazing. I mean, just looking at this bridge, it's just standing here alone, it just looks awesome. So I just want to know, when is this assignment given to the students, and how long do they have to build this bridge?
The students have 2 quarters. They usually we start the project at the beginning of the 2nd quarter, and we pretty much have till the end of the 3rd quarter. So this year it was assigned in October, or we first start talking about it in October, and then they're due in February. But it's kind of an ongoing thing. Students know the year before that they're going to be in the class, and so they talk to the students who are doing it this year, and they watch the how-to video. I'm already getting questions this year from the sophomores because they're like, we only have 52 weeks left to build our bridge.
I'm really counting down their weeks.
And how does this design look? How does that design look? So it's kind of ongoing.
Well, so what materials are given to the students to build these bridges?
We get 1/8 inch square balsa wood, and it is 30 linear feet of balsa wood, and we use Type Bond 1 wood glue, which is actually the best glue for balsa wood. The glue bond is actually stronger than the wood. If you noticed when you were there, if you looked up close, the bridge always breaks between the glue joints, not at a glue joint.
Yeah,
Those are the only 2 materials.
that's pretty awesome, and it's holding a certain amount of.
Yeah, and they weigh just a few ounces hold up.
And so you have built, of course, your bridges. So what was your first number that your bridge held, and up to your highest number that you've gotten to?
Well, when I inherited the contest way back in the late 1900s, I had never built a bridge as a De La Salle student, so I had to teach it. And so I had figured that summer, before I knew I was taking that class, I would build one myself. My first bridge held 175, which at that time was a big deal. And slowly over time, I had some ideas, and over the years, maybe I built 15, 16 bridges. Some of them were just really basic, just trying different designs. But my bridges always seemed to do way better than the student bridges. And then at some point, I produced a video, which maybe we'll have the link to right there at this point. I produced a how-to video and gave away a few of my secrets. And that video being out there 24/7 and students able to pause and show it to people at home that might be helping them seemed to really push the contest forward, and it got to the point where students were beating my bridge weights. And so I was coming back and building a bridge, and then my last bridge that I built was 280 pounds, and that record stood for a while until last year, and now the current record is 345.
And do you want to say who has that record?
Jose Luis Campos, he's a senior here at D. He got that last year. And the other student that broke 300 was Peter Brennan. He's also a senior currently here at De La Salle. And they were the first and only two students to break 300. And we used to think that was a mythical point that we'd never cross. And so I'm still at 280 personally. So we'll see. I have a few more years. We'll see if I come out of bridge building retirement and try to take that record back or not.
You'll get there. So you also do have Mr. Burke, Mr. Davidson, and Mr. Dershall to help you. So what are their kind of roles, if you don't mind just saying what they do?
Back when we were an all-boys school, I broke all the bridges, and then when we were separate campuses, I was at both I didn't teach the girls' campus, but I broke their bridges to keep it fair. And then when we merged campuses, we had so many honors geometry students on the same day. And I did that for a few years, and I was like, oh wow, I'm kind of sore the next day after that. I don't know if it was a combination of my advanced age or just the number of students. And so all these guys that you mentioned would come and visit the contest, and they'd be there anyway. So we just had the idea, well, why don't we share the load and all like take turns breaking the bridges? And so it's helped me out a little. But that's how that began. Their role is to, I've trained them very carefully to be, so that all the bridges are broken kind of in the same exact methodical way to keep the contest fair. And so that if you were there, you kind of witnessed how, no matter who was breaking the bridge, the routine that they used was the same.
Yes.
So basically they're the muscle behind the contest.
They break the bridges quite
Right.
literally. I was there and I was watching, and it was just, I have never seen it before. I wasn't actually in regular algebra, so I'd never seen or heard of these bridges, but I always heard my classmates talking about them, but I would hear like the weights drop. And so this is my first time ever seeing it, and I was literally in awe just watching these bridges, and like it got up to like 130, and I'm like, oh my God, I could step on that bridge right now and I'll be fine.
Right.
Like that bridge could just hold somebody's weight, which I think is just awesome. So your students even like just watching their peers do their bridge was just like they were so excited, and they were on edge, like hoping that their bridge would also hold that weight. So did you want to mention any of these students that did it this year?
This year's contest, the winner was Natalie Lopez with 225
Okay.
pounds, and second place was Nick Arvidas with 210, and Jennifer Lopez with 195. Those were our first, second, and third place winners this year.
That's great. So is there any last words that you want to say to the upcoming sophomore that are counting their weights, that you want to give them any advice or anything?
Watch the how-to video, ask questions, talk to the students who have been successful, and start early.
Oh, yes.
Don't do it at the last minute.
And steal some secrets from Jose and Peter while they're here.
Yeah, while Jose and Peter are still here, you should probably try to talk to them.
Oh, yes. Well, thank you, Mr. Jackowiak, for taking the time and sitting down with me.
Thank you.
And now we'll pass it over to Mia.
Thanks, Isela. I'm here with Coach Stevenson. He's the coach of the girls basketball team, girls varsity and JV. So, Coach Stevenson, you guys had a 17 and 16 season this year. How do you think it went? What do you think contributed to your success?
I just think our overall, our older girls did a really good job of like helping our younger girls out. We had a lot of freshmen that had to play some big minutes this year, and I think with the combination of our older girls helping out the younger girls really led us to having a really successful season this year.
It's your second year as head coach, and you're going to be head coach again next year and for the coming years. What
sure.
kind of goals do you have for yourself?
Just to keep getting better, just to keep building the program. Like I said, I think we had 8 or 9 freshmen this year, so the program is on its way up. We have 2 years in a row where we've won regional championships. Last year we made it to the sectional finals, which was very good, so I've been very proud of the team over the last couple of years.
Speaking of the regional finals this year, talk to me about that. What team did you guys play against? How did that game go?
So we ended up playing Inglewood STEM. They're a CPS school, and they had a pretty decent record coming into the game, but we practiced very well leading up to that, and we came out ready to go and actually played a very, very good game to win the regional championship this year. So very proud of them.
What type of practices do you think contributes to that? Is it a lot of defense, offense for you?
It's just the intensity, I think, of just coming prepared, ready, to go for those 2 hours. Nothing in particular, like obviously we did, scouted for the opposing team, but for the most part, it's just coming ready to go and getting better. And the last several weeks we did that. Obviously, we ended up losing to Nazareth in the sectional semis, but they just won state last week. So we can't really hold our heads too low for losing to them, but we prepared ourselves very well. And we actually played well in that game against Naz. It's just, like I said, they're just a very good team.
And talking about getting better, what types of things are you looking forward to in the future to get better as a team?
I say this a lot, the girls have to, play basketball, pretty much all year round. Obviously, a lot of them play other sports, but even if you're playing other sports, they need to go and, do a dribbling drill for 20 minutes or just make sure that they're running on a constant basis. Also, we're actually real big in our nutrition right now, so we're trying to get them to eat properly and take care of their bodies because playing at a high level, they exert a lot of energy, and they really need to focus on what they eat so that they're burning off the right calories for that.
What was your favorite part from the season?
Favorite part, it's just I think just the day in and day out of some days you're not necessarily there emotionally, but most days, they came ready to go, and I was proud of them for that. We ended up going to Indiana for where they filmed the movie Hoosiers, and that trip was fun. We went bowling, went out to eat, so they definitely enjoyed that. I think it was a big team bonding experience for them.
Do you have any last words, anything to add?
No, we're just excited, and we want to thank everybody for their support. We've had a lot of good crowds this year. We have a lot of people in the school. Hey, congratulations, or keep it up. And I think that the camaraderie we have at the school and just the school spirit just continues to build, and definitely appreciate that. So.
Well, thank you so much, Coach Stevenson. We look forward to next year.
Thank you.
Thanks again to Mr. Jackowiak, Mr. Stevenson, and Jose Campos for sitting down and talking with us.
Yeah, thanks. Coming up, we have spring sports. They just finished tryouts this week, so we're looking forward to their seasons. Also this week is World Language Week. It's where the whole school celebrates, all the languages in the world. And in De La Salle, we're going to be doing a soccer tournament on Thursday with all the language classes. And then Friday, we're going to be doing a lot of different various competitions.
Yeah, so stay tuned for those results. Thank you for watching. As always,
Go Meteors!